Well, hello there. I just want to make a quick video. I won't keep it for long. I hope you're all doing well. I haven't really been online much. I haven't really been doing much anything except just trying to stay busy. I have been struggling lately with basically, like, I guess you could call it flashbacks, morbid thought flashbacks. I guess I've probably been alone too long. So I thought, whatever, I'll make a video. And as regards to these last couple videos, I thought I'd do something more contemporary, hence the title, Once Upon a Time in the Okanagan Part 9. Here we go, right? Sort of just doing this out of habit. I mean, regardless of my other platforms doing well or not, and videos doing well or not, people either see this stuff and want to do something about it or they don't. I mean, for some people, maybe it's too big and they don't know what to do and they're just sick of hearing about it, and other people denying it altogether. But I guess, as I said, like the title suggests, grid lines like this, they're not normal. This is not normal. Oh look, 3 days on, 3 days off, or give or take. Chemtrails, and then no chemtrails. And now they're back, because that's normal, right? A grid line set up like that. And so I guess back to work. Just keep posting these videos, linking municipalities, trying to inspire other people to do this. If millions of people were to do this, then maybe something would change. But until people wake up to what this actually even is, like, I don't know, what is that, skywriting? In the days when there's nothing, I guess that means there's no airplanes? Like, what? And so, I'm not going to say the same spiels I always say, because frankly, I've said it all before in my videos that I've made previous. So you can watch them. Better yet, go watch the citations. Like this movie, What in the World Are They Spraying? Where the links will be in the description section or the top comment, even though YouTube for some reason won't let me pin comments anymore, wanting me to verify somehow. I don't know. Maybe they want my ID and a urine sample just to pin a comment to my own videos, but whatever. Instagram, I posted this as well. Also, I thought this was pretty funny. Facebook, for some reason, felt it necessary to perfect technology within their app to make any link you or I post a dead link, as I call them, where it's no longer glowing blue like this, and you can no longer see it, and it's just a dead link. And I noticed it when I was posting this one. They were spraying us pretty rank the other day, and I noticed it. And so when I went to make my post on Facebook, like I said, out of habit, whatever, I noticed the links didn't work. And that's pretty funny. And you can see right now isn't even me scrolling over them. This video about Neurosurgeon Dr. Russell Blaylock and my Rumble video I made. And it's like over here on my Rumble page, one of these many videos that I've posted on my backups. But anyway, all these citation links, even YouTube videos, they're blocking. And I thought, well, that's pretty petty. Facebook, they're so scared of the truth getting out. These people are so weak that they're scared to death of pitchforks and torches. And I obviously don't promote any kind of violence or any kind of attack against anything. I mean, what could we really do against the Air Force doing this to us? But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Facebook censored, of course, because, you know, reasons. And like I says, there's nothing more really to say about it. I'm not going to go on and on and on. I mean, some of the people, the libs, the NPCs, they're never going to see it. You know, maybe some of them do deserve to be slaves. I don't know. But the point of these videos was always to try to inspire people. Every time this happens, record a video of it and link it to your local municipalities. Link it to your local MPs or congressmen or governors or whatever you got. And if millions of people did that, it would make a difference. But sadly, I'm feeling like, you know, one of just a few thousand, hundreds, whatever, up against fighting a storm, rolling up against the gates. And anyway, I guess that's all I got to say about that. I will play here this clip with David Keith and the rest of these geoengineers talking about how cheap this was to convert the air fuel industry over so that all jet fuel just has the chemicals they need to do chemtrails, and all the aluminum and the garbage that's in that's toxifying everything, our soil samples, our food, our air, us, everything. But yeah, I guess whatever, right? People either hear this stuff and do something about it or they don't. And I guess that's all I got to say about that. So here's this clip again just for posterity, so that, I mean, if someone only sees this video and none of my other ones, at least that clip's in there with all the citations linked below, because that's a home run out of the park. That David Keith and all his cohorts said that. Even that the toxicology reports are being purposely suppressed. But whatever, I guess I'm just a conspiracy theorist. So I guess I'll just say, peace out, baby.
It is called geoengineering, fighting global warming by putting a chemical dust in the atmosphere and reflecting harmful radiation back into space.
We take geoengineering to mean deliberate, large-scale intervention in the Earth system.
There are a variety of schemes that have been discussed for geoengineering. A classic example is injecting reflecting particles into Earth orbit.
Nevertheless, there might be some good reasons to think about alumina. It turns out, first of all, there's been a lot of work on the environmental consequences of alumina in the stratosphere. The big deal really is that alumina has 4 times the volumetric rate of forcing for small particles as does sulfur. And that means you have 4 times less surface area for the same rate of forcing. And this is a much bigger deal. You'd have roughly 16 times less the coagulation rate, and that's the thing that really drives removal. So you could get away, we think, with much smaller mass fluxes.
Could a strange substance found by a Southwest Arkansas man be part of a government test? Well, that's the question at the heart of a phenomenon called chemtrails, now getting widespread attention.
Well, they say the government is dumping chemicals on us to control or manipulate the weather.
And they say the unusual looking jet trails in the sky are actually chemical-laden chemtrails.
People say the government is up there in airplanes spraying all kinds of chemicals to change or manipulate the weather, leaving what you see there, and they call that a chemtrail.
So what I look at there and I think are contrails, you're telling me are chemtrails?
Yes, that a contrail would be dissipated by now.
And it's interesting, Dale and Christina, this is of interest not just in this country, but European countries and frankly all over the world. A lot of folks interested.
When I found out that the American Association for the Advancement of Science was going to be held down here and the main body of topics would be on geoengineering, I had to come. I had to be in on this. I had to hear what these top climate change scientists had to say.
And that's the other question about chemtrails and whether geoengineering is being deployed right now without our knowledge. I don't have any personal insight into that, other than to say that I've worked in government at pretty high levels in the White House and in at state government. I'm personally skeptical of that. But obviously you never know what you don't know.
Chemtrails. On the internet, they are cited as proof of the government creating clouds to combat global warming.
So that's why we see things like in the use aircraft patent from the '89, they talk about aluminum. And that's why we're seeing in the surface water samples aluminum. And here's David Keith saying that aluminum has 4 times the reflective volume surface area. So they'd like us to think that we're talking about sulfur, but here they slipped up and let it out that aluminum is 4 times better to achieving their ends, and it sounds like it's going to be one they don't want us to know the effects of.
The little picture is from a nanofabrication study, which shows you can make very high quality, and do this in just a jet in a very simple way, make high quality alumina particles just by spraying aluminum vapor out, which oxidizes. So it's certainly in principle possible to do that, and there's a big literature that's already looked at that. And you could do that by either building new versions of these aircraft or even re-engineering existing aircraft. So there's some ideas of that. So you go to an engineering firm and you want this done. They don't say this is hard or unusual. They say, okay, yes, we could do it. Aerosol geoengineering looks like it is so cheap that the cost is basically not going to be an issue. That means that implementation decisions will be risk-to-risk decisions. The risk of doing it against the risk of not doing it. And it makes the problem of how we govern it fundamentally harder and different and novel. So I've told you that it's cheap to deliver materials to the stratosphere, and I'm convinced that's true. I don't think that will change. But I think the more we do research, the less easy this will look, the more complicated the environmental effects will look. And that's a good thing, because right now it looks too easy. So I think that if we do more research, we're likely to find out that it's harder and more complicated than we thought, and the side effects are harder to manage, and that's a healthy outcome that will make it easier to do the management. Of course, the opposite reaction is possible. It's an empirical question, how people will actually react to knowledge about this. Another reaction is to say, if these crazy scientists are so concerned about putting CO2 in the atmosphere, they want to think about these things, then that might actually mean we should be more serious about the risks of CO2 in the atmosphere. And by the way, it's not really a moral hazard, it's more like free riding on our grandkids. And by the way, it's not really a moral hazard, it's more like free riding on our grandkids.
Numerous air quality studies, including from CARB, California Air Quality Resource Board, have named submicron-sized particulates as being particularly harmful for human respiration. Through all the discussions today, I have not heard any mention of this fallout, and has this been studied, and also the effects of a highly reactive metal like aluminum on toxifying soils and waters?
The question is, what would be the effects of these materials on human health if they came down into the stratosphere, in particular small particles and aluminum?
So the collaborators of mine working on the aerosol scheme are actually folks from Carnegie Mellon who focused on human health impacts. And while we haven't published it, that was the very first thing we did. And while we haven't published it, that was the very first thing we did. And while we haven't published it, that was the very first thing we did, was do the order of magnitude calculation in level pencil and paper, but with an expert on human health impacts about whether there could be an issue.
Because there's literally aluminum and barium contamination found around the world, believed to be from these programs.
Like, look, today over the Capitol, looks like they're deploying some type of aerosol. Did you see it?
No, I didn't, but good to see you. Many people are deeply concerned about it because of the toxicity of aluminum, and it has been addressed to Congress in various committees. Would you take a look at a letter from some of your constituents addressing the concerns? Okay, are you aware of the issue? You do it through the...
Are you in support of those proposals? What is your take?
I don't know anything about it. I have to get more information. I've got a chair here.
Okay, we'll give you a letter on that.
Yeah, this is a letter from constituents.
Okay, great.
Excellent. And many people believe that these programs have already been deployed because mass contamination has been found. Geoengineering programs, stratospheric.